Southwest Reconstruction, the poetry collection, really is the book in the drawer. So this project was, I initiated it before Brown Neon was a twinkle in my eye. So Southwest Reconstruction, I got into my MFA program for poetry, and so I did a second MFA degree in nonfiction when our program went to 3 years. But Southwest Reconstruction has been the project I've been sitting on since for almost 10 years. And it is, uh, I think Brown Neon really helped me um, structure Southwest Reconstruction. And essentially, Southwest Reconstruction became sort of a companion piece to Brown Neon because it does um, it's situated in three parts of travel by car, of a road trip in motion. And so I'm the speakers of these poems um, is visiting various sites along Interstate 10 and interacting with various modes of historical trauma and contemporary issues and my own sort of intimate biographies and sort of creating these snapshots, dispatches, insights, windows, and trying to really interrogate this idea of the intersection between settler colonialism and mestizaje and the ways that uh, those two, huge ideas sort of, again, animate and form occupations of space in the Southwest Borderlands register. I feel like the road trip for me has become a way or to really sort of internalize, embody, think about moving through time and space. You're literally moving through time and space when you're on the road traveling. And so the things that you've cited mentioned, right? The sort of infrastructural palimpsest of yeah, the old like motel on the side of the road, the signage, water towers with the names of football team championships from like the 90s. These historical impulses that sort of are fired off as you're traveling through that moment, and the way in which these impulses are sort of bringing in history. And so the poetry collection is essentially a way to contend with that, to have a reckoning of sorts, and to also sort of a road trip is great to help you quiet your thoughts and anxieties, or to help give you some time to really think through big decisions, or sort of whatever preoccupies you, the problems that are living at on the fore of your mind. The road trip is a great place to sort of like sit with those things that maybe we don't have time to devote to, or that show up in our dreams, as really scary sort of dreams or nightmares. But yeah, it really is about the journey within and all of the sort of outward um, uh, ways that we try to sort of fill the landscape with our sort of internal interior configurations. It's called A Species of Precarious Hopping, and it's basically it's about a visit to Joshua Tree and wanting Joshua Tree to be something that maybe it isn't. So let me just go ahead and read that. Excuse me, a species of precarious hopping. I fell for another coyote magic trick. Now I am panicking like Dogma and chasing star-crossed patterns hatched across an unaffordable sky. I was desperate for a place, any place, a yellow, red, white, and black place, as every four directions boast a nomad and a hot tub under the stars. These are the mythological stripes to a place to imagine, to play and see to the future, coming in from the end of time to answer like a planchette, moving across the parade of a libertarian hinterland. This is what Joshua Tree gave me when my excess found austerity, when my heartbeat found consequence in the body of Purifoy's assemblage. Hear the moon song, dream stutter, washing over jumbo rocks until it disappears. Fuck me as a sun rocket cheers inside another burning, pale blue pyre. Here come the ancient good times where I get pulled over, but a passport and a sage bundle bless me into the crossroad. I brought some toys for a legua. I love the unpaved roads of a high desert with low interest rates, the cool poverty, the acceptable shakes, like sex with private property in the aging hipster economy. A five-star review ensures me to parties like Manifest Destiny's Child. I might call on ritual to cut my way out of this pack when they try to turn my dog against me. The familiar betrayal necessitates survival, the first of many frontiers. When I was in high school, like my senior year, I had a really tough time. I had a friend who passed away in a car accident. And before that, from 13 to maybe 15, 16, I had begged my parents for a drum set and I never got a drum set. And until they saw me grieving, they're like, hey, do you still want that drum set? And so I got this really sweet little Ludwig sparkly red jazz set, and I took lessons, and I just set it up. However, I put a double bass drum on this little jazz set, and just kind of like rocked out to heal. And so I think just learning about rhythm, syncopation, the one and a two and a three and a four, the one E and a two E and a three E and a four E and a, those that stuff just like is in my DNA now. And so, drumming and learning about rhythm, um, and beats and syncopation and the oh gosh, what's that thing called? The
The meter,
metronome.
the meter, yeah, the
Yes, yes,
metronome.
yes. So, having that at before my brain developed, and then going and studying poetry. So, and then learning about scansion and learning about meter, right, poetic meters. So that, and the syllable is essentially the note, the half note, the quarter note. Or at least that's how that's how I equate it. So all of that goes into, putting the line down, right? The image and then the image to the line. So when I write poems, I'm very careful in trying to uh just zoom in on the right word, right on good word choice and syntax. And so because it is very musical, and again, I agree, it's very musical, and I love just trying to reach aspire towards like good syntactical output or musical, pleasurable, harmonious, and even the things that are a little more stronking or more hard pivots. I love free jazz. I love Don Cherry and Ornette Coleman and John Coltrane's Sun Ra, Cecil Taylor, all that stuff, So in a sense, like also how to lean into polyrhythms and create sort of more language, a more ambiental language experience of poems. Because I have a hand, a bunch of experimental things in the book too. I hope and aspire to one day be able to remember the things I write. Sometimes people will I'll encounter folks who have read my work and will say things back to me or show me a passage that they enjoyed. And I was like, I wrote that. That's weird. That doesn't sound like something I would say. I there's something, I don't know if I just black out after I write it and just can't remember. That's why, I'm constantly reaching for the book, the table of contents. I'm like, oh, I don't even know the title of that poem. But I sometimes it's just the image, I'm just trying to really do the image justice, and sometimes it's a really uh, not a hard image in the sense that it's unsettling or some horror, thing. But sometimes I'm just like, yeah, how do I make a rusty corrugated roof sound cool? Because I feel like those things have been very much part of the vernacular architecture in the communities that I've grown up in and the countries where my parents are from. The rusted corrugated, metal roof is also a really beautiful sound when rain hits it. But so how do I make that into a thing that brings me some sort of aesthetic joy? And then I just kind of like, well, I'm gonna do my best, and so I refer to the rain as like a dulcet barbarity. The first poem I think that will have that aura in the collection is called "And You Wanted to Show Me the Mexico of Slauson Avenue." And Slauson Avenue is a major artery in South Los Angeles that sort of connects West LA to East LA by way of South LA. And Slauson Avenue, if you're ever going to choose one street to drive a long way through Los Angeles to really get to know it, for me, it's Slauson Avenue. And so you just everything you described in terms of just like the infrastructural palimpsest of old signs and neon and the writing over, right? Those histories. Slauson Avenue is just gem after gem after gem. So if you don't mind, I'd love to read it just to give you a sense. Just
Please,
all right,
absolutely.
cool. And you wanted to show me the Mexico of Slauson Avenue. I missed you every day I lived there. I wanted to show you exactly how Food for Less sits on top of Sleepy Lagoon. Azteca TV, Chicanx hotspot, pink Wi-Fi calibration, a neon green brought back and forth. The border is painted, a roof of paisa monstrosity. That's what makes loving me the rawest material, wood made flesh, and the corrugated metal that makes our ailing rain dulcet, no longer the barbarity that comes with insolvency. A credit rating ready to drop upon me when I wake only to dream again that you were not fragile this time. Where Slauson Avenue is Mexico, an isle of noise worth waking for.